In this nitty-gritty basics Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at I Love Mahj. Today's topic is red flags. The format today is no socialization. We're going to dig into the nitty-gritty. So if you prefer gameplay with commentary and socialization, join us on Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 to 8 Eastern Time. I want to say thank you to moderators who will be helping monitor the chat today if they decide to come. Not sure yet. I also want to say thank you to our channel members, especially Donna, who just joined recently, today actually. Welcome. That's Lucky, in case you haven't met him yet. So we do have a moderator here. Hi, Evelyn. Welcome. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started on talking about red flags. And then we'll do lots of gameplay with commentary at I Love Mahj. All right, you ready to go? Red flags. Let's see. Usually there's a notice. Not today though, huh? Okay, not sure what's going on there. Let me double check on YouTube. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure everything's okay there, because that's where the notification comes from, YouTube. And it should be automatic. Let's see. I do have, I think I have a cold, so bear with me. I'm a bit sniffly. Okay, so it looks like we're streaming. Did anybody else get a notification when we went live? And I believe I got an email. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got a notification. So maybe it's in your junk box. I don't know. Okay, and then I need to just double check one other quick thing and then we'll get started on red flags. Even as a beginner, you need to know about red flags. Okay, let me see. Beat the pro. Aha. Okay, so we need to edit. Hold on one second. This is at, oh, let's see, noon. Let's see, noon. There we go. No, here. Okay. I just needed to fix my Beat the Pro Let's Play live stream. That is going to be on Thursdays now. Instead of doing a double header on Friday, I split it out. So Thursdays will be Beat the Pro, just in case you're wondering. Beat the Pro from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Karen Friedman. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that there was a conflicting schedule between my website, Facebook, and YouTube. I've got 3 places to update. So I got a little bit mixed up there. And also, Karen, kudos on making it to the winner's circle. That's wonderful. Okay, so now let me see. We got that taken care of. Can everybody hear me? Beat the Pro, yes, Beat the Pro. Oh, there's Karen. Kudos. You saw the new member? Yep, Donna. Donna's a new member. Okay, so let's see. I think we're ready to go. All right, here we go then. Red flags. You ready? Okay, thank you, Evelyn. All right, now, red flag. What is a red flag? A red flag is used as a warning of danger. Really, it's an alert when it comes to Mahjong. There's really no danger. Nobody's life is at risk when you play Mahjong. Well, I've heard that there are some very aggressive players, but I don't think anyone's life is in danger. Our stress levels may go up at times, but there's truly no danger. A red flag in Mahjong means that you should be on high alert. Alert. You want to be alert. Welcome, Susan. So when you are looking, or when you're playing the game and somebody does something that throws a flag on the play, it's typically at certain points in the game when you want to take notice. And I like to use strategy by wall as kind of milestones, basically. So if you don't already know about strategy by wall, this is where you compartmentalize tactics based on the wall in play. And in the preliminaries, you have the first wall that is distributed to the players through dealing the tiles. And then everyone has their tiles, and you have a short wall. That is going to be the wall to east right. Okay, so that south's wall is where that short wall is. Let me see. If depending on where the wall is broken, but basically you're going to have a short wall and then two full walls. So during the Charleston, there'll be a short wall, and then you have the begin game, the middle game, and the end game. In this overview, or this high level view, there's the wall was not broken, so just full walls are pushed out, just so you can get an idea of how that's done. I do have a presentation on how to estimate the length of a full wall when playing in person, because when you play online, you usually have some kind of a counter that helps you keep track of where you are in the game. When you're playing the game, you are using your critical thinking skills, and this happens automatically, but this is the process that goes on. You observe, assess, consider, decide, and execute. That is critical thinking, and it happens automatically. You can build these skills, and that's what I'm hoping to help you with today with red flags. In the pregame, this is during the Charleston, there are red flags that you want to prepare for. The first is opponents passing blind. That is a red flag. If an opponent is passing blind, there are two things that could be happening. One, they're in between and they don't know which one to go with, in which case they're only delaying the inevitable. If you happen to do that, if you're in between, pick the strongest option and let the other tiles go so you can pass fully. But if an opponent does that, they could be in between, but they could also be narrowing in on a category or one or two hands, and they maybe don't want to give up some option tiles, or maybe they don't even have option tiles and they have all keepers. That is a red flag. Oops. Okay, the next one is an opponent stopping the Charleston. This is a red flag, and it has the same potential circumstance behind it. They're either in between and they can't make a decision, in which case that's a bad decision, in my opinion, because you want to continue passing if you can. Don't straddle. Go with your strongest option and keep going. If an opponent does this, though, that should be a red flag, because they could have a well-developed hand, in which case you don't want to do an optional across with them. So if somebody across from you stops the Charleston, decline the optional because of the red flag. Another red flag is when an opponent negotiates low in the optional across. You can pass up to 3 in the optional across. If somebody says they want 2, that is an indicator that they only have a couple of useless tiles, which means the rest are all keepers. But if they pass 1, then that is a big red flag, because they could be very close to completing a hand. Now, with all of these red flags, they could either be in between, but they could also be close to completing a hand. So these are red flags during the Charleston. I think that's it for the Charleston. All right. Now, we could go to I Love Mahj and let's do Charleston modeling. We'll do Charleston modeling, and then we're going to come back to the presentation and we're going to do red flags during the game after East discards. We'll go into the begin, middle, and end game, and I'll share the red flags during those parts of the game. But just to kind of give it a little bit of a break and let those sink in, let's go do Charleston modeling at I Love Mahj, because they have a great exercise room, and we're going to use that. If you haven't tried it before, you'll see it's a great experience and a great skill builder. So let me go to I Love Mahj. I've got it up. Let's see here. Here it is. Let me go. Oh, you already see it here. Okay, I'm going to go up here now. And we're going to go down here to the exercise room. And we're going to start exercise. Oopsies, I think I picked the wrong thing. I did. That's not where we want to be. We want to be here. Charleston practice, the second bullet, or radio button, I guess is what it is. Okay, so here we go. Everybody ready? We have a couple of jokers, a flower, a white dragon, 1, 2, 7, 9 in bams, 2 bam pair, 1, 6 in cracks, 3, 4, 8 in dots. So our pair, this 2 bam, this is a multiple, which is identical tiles. You want to leverage them for American Mah Jongg. That's the key to the game, or the key to hand development. You start there, the 2 bam pair. And then you look at the rest of your tiles and think, what can I keep to use with the 2 bam? We could maybe play a year hand. We have a 2 and here's a 4. We could also maybe play something consecutive. So I would hold the 1 and the 3. We might even be able to play something with evens, but the 2 bam, 4, 6, 8 is not gelling. So I would let those go. We've got to be able to pass. So I would leave the 6, 7, 8, 9 tiles here as passing tiles and focus on little numbers, because they just seem a little more useful around the 2 bam because of the suits. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pass 6, 8, 9, let's say. 6, 8, 9. One of each suit. Okay, so we've got our pass here. We've got a 7, 8, 9 and a west. Because we're working with mixed suits here, I probably would let the west go and pass west 9, 7. Okay, we got our pass. We still don't have keepers. There's a 5, but with a 2 bam pair, that 5 bam, not helpful. So let's pass 5, 6, 8. Let's actually do 8, 9. Keep it on the edge if you can. The middle tiles are more efficient, so you want to make it hard for your opponents and give them edge tiles if you can. Those would be 7, 8, 9, or 1, 2, 3. In this case, we're using 1, 2, 3. We did get a dragon here. We may or may not be able to use that with the 2 bam. We'll see. We have 3 discards. This is when somebody could stop the Charleston. That would be a red flag if it happens. So let's see what happens. So far, no red flags. That last right pass, nobody passed blind that we could see anyway. So no red flags there either. We're going to keep going. So 5, 6, 8. I think I would probably let this dragon go. We have a pair of 6s and a 6 bam. I would reassess, because now we actually have potential for like numbers with 6s, or maybe 3, 6, 9. So I would hold the 6s, 3, and the dragon, maybe the west for news with 6s, and then pass those for now. Let's see here. No 2s came through, no 4s came through, no 1s, The bigger numbers are what came through. Let's let the 3 go and focus on 6s. If we have a dragon, we can use that maybe with 6s with dragons. We could even play the 3, 6, 9 hand, 4th hand down. Let's let the 1 go here. And then we get a 2 and a 4. Okay, so let's see. At the moment, we have either a year hand potential in there, or we have, let's see, 6s, a west. We have like numbers with 2s in here now. I think I'd go back to letting the 6s go. Thankfully, we didn't let our 2s go. I would pass 2 so that we're not passing like numbers. So let's pass 2. And we're passing short. This is an example of passing short. We have a year hand in here maybe, or like numbers with 2s. And I would keep all of these and pass 2 and even break up that pair. Okay, so we ended up with 4 discards and 2 potential hands, either like numbers with 2s with news, or maybe a year hand. So in this example, we didn't see any red flags, but the ones that you want to remember are if anybody passes blind, stops the Charleston, or if anybody negotiates low in the optional across. Those are the 3 red flags during the Charleston. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the presentation because I'm going to show you red flags during a game. So buckle up. I'm going to give you a lot to think about. And of course, you'll be able to watch the repost. So I'm going to share my screen again so we can go back to the presentation. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to talk about the begin game, red flags in the begin game. This is after the Charleston. If an opponent makes exposures, that would be a red flag. Anybody making an exposure, any opponent making an exposure would be a red flag in the begin game. This is when that first short wall is in play, where you're picking and discarding from that short wall. It could be an indicator that they have a well-developed hand, but it can also mean that they're just an aggressive player. I call that kind of a player an orca. They'll push to win even if they have weaknesses in their hand. Anybody making exposures in the very beginning would either be an indicator that they're an aggressive player, and you got to be mindful of that, or that they have a well-developed hand. Also, if an opponent discards a joker, that is also a red flag. That's going to indicate that they're either ready to win on a pair or single tile. That early in the game, it's unlikely. What it is more likely going to mean is that they're playing a pair hand, which is a big hand, high point hand. So you want to be mindful of that and increase your defense. Even consider folding. If someone's playing a pair hand or a quint, now anyone discarding a joker is not playing a quint. I can guarantee you that. If someone discards a joker, that will mean that they're probably playing a pair hand, or they're waiting to win on a single or pair. So you want to be mindful of that. I was going to jump over to the I Love Mahj in between, but I think we're going to keep going. In the middle game, this is between 80 and 41 tiles remaining, the third wall. Any opponent making an exposure could be, again, an indicator that they have a well-developed hand and they're willing to commit and expose or reveal information about their hand. That would be a red flag. Any exposure is a red flag. Keep an eye on the post-exposure discard, especially in the middle and end game. This is going to be very telling because in the middle game, they will have more likely than not let their useless tiles go. So in this part of the game, they're going to be once they do an exposure, they're probably going to be discarding what I call whittled keepers. And they would be keepers that they've decided they're not going to use. So maybe they had a couple of ways to go with their hand and they committed with an exposure, which means that one of their option tiles would no longer be needed. So that post-exposure discard can be telling. So look at post-exposure discards to help you figure out at least what category they're playing, if not what hand they're playing. Typically, you need at least 2 exposures to figure that out. But if it happens when we go back to I Love Mahj, I'll point it out and explain as the game is in play so that you can see what I mean. The next thing would be any opponent discarding a joker could be an indicator they're ready to win on a single or pair tile. And then in the end game, the last wall, any opponent making an exposure in the last wall in play is an indicator that they're playing to win. Savvy players will not make an exposure if they know they cannot win. So on the other side of that coin, it would be a savvy player who is playing to win. They're going to claim discards and make an exposure because they want to continue to develop their hand. And that exposure will help them get there faster. Sometimes you might have a player who is still learning and may not realize that making an exposure, even if you cannot win, is revealing information. And it's not a shrewd choice. You want to keep as much of the game, as far as you're concerned, concealed, because anything you expose is going to reveal information. So anyone who makes an exposure in the end game is typically playing to win. And that should be a red flag because it should put you on higher alert. Also look at post-exposure discards here. They are more and more telling as the game progresses, especially the discard right after an exposure. Any opponent discarding a joker in this part of the early part of the 4th wall, they likely are waiting on a pair or a single, but further into the 4th wall, the closer you get to the end, they may have folded, meaning they are no longer playing to win, but they are playing to block others from developing their hand or winning the game. So when you are in the end game, think about whether or not you want to push to win or fold with each pick and discard. And you want to think about the likelihood of a discard being a needed tile, and then the impact that it could create if you decide to let it go. On the left, we have improbable, possible, and probable. So improbable would be risk unlikely to occur. Possible, risk is likely to occur. And then probable, where risk is most likely to occur. You want to look at that, each pick and discard, or each pick, we're taking it moment by moment here. So each pick, is it an improbable risky tile? Is it a possible risky tile? Or is it a probable risky tile? And you can determine that based on how many of those tiles are visible on the table. And that includes discards and exposures, plus what is in your own hand. So think about the likelihood for the risk of each pick, and then consider the impact that it could have when you discard it. One level of impact is that it's acceptable. And this would be if an opponent does not have any exposures. If you discard, let's say, a possible risky tile and nobody has exposures, then that's going to be an acceptable impact because you don't know what people are playing with no exposures. But the more exposures people have, the greater the impact. Tolerable would be 1 exposure, unacceptable would be 2 exposures, and intolerable would be 3 exposures. So the more exposures an opponent has, the greater the impact. And then you want to compare that to the likelihood of your risky tile and then make that choice so as to minimize the impact that you could create. Because if you discard a risky tile and you end up with an unacceptable or intolerable impact, you're going to have to pay a penalty. So the idea here is you want to stay in the low to medium impact range and stay out of the high extreme. If you're playing to win and your opponents have maybe one exposure, you might push. But if people have multiple exposures, 2, 3 exposures, I would recommend folding probably, especially if you think about your own potential to win. You always got to consider that first. If your potential to win is slim, fold. If your potential to win is high, consider pushing. But take it pick by pick and consider the likelihood of risk and the level of impact that could be the result with that discard. Hi, Wes. Okay, now we're going to go back and we are going to play at I Love Mahj again. And we're going to go through an actual game with robots. And I'm going to point out any red flags that I see so that you can see it in action. We'll bring it all together. Everybody ready? So we're going to go up here. We're going to play with intermediate robots. Okay. Hi, Wes. Okay, now we have a joker, a flower, 2, 3, 6 in bams, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 in cracks, pair 6, 3, 4, 5 in dots. When I look at these tiles, I'm immediately drawn to the pair because American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. If you start with that part of the hand, you're going to optimize a transformation. And that's the whole purpose of the Charleston. You want to transform your dealt hand. And because every hand on the card uses multiples, pair pung kong, start there. Let the multiples drive the hand. So we're going to play with the 6 crack. Whatever we decide to do, we're going to use the 6 crack. So I'm going to look at the rest of my tiles and keep tiles that can be used with the 6. We have another 6. We have a 7. We have a 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7 of some kind. Let's see, maybe even that 4 we could keep. We could maybe play evens, 2, 4, 6, 8, but we have no 8. And we're also left with all 3s. I would not pass all 3s. No, that would not be a good choice, I don't think. So I would break up these 3s, pass one at a time, maybe pass a 2 bam, a 3 dot, and then the 6 bam. Maybe we could even do one of each suit and pass a 2 crack. Focus on 4, 5, 6, 7 of some kind. Okay, so now we have a 5. I would keep it. We do have a dragon in here now. 4, 5, 6, 7 dragon. There's a hand in consecutive run. 5th hand down. 5th hand down under consecutive run. Here's 2, 3. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7 dragon. We have 4, 5 dots, 6, 7 cracks. 2nd hand from the bottom on the right. I think I would focus on one suit. We've got several options here. Let's let the 5 go. Okay, no keepers. So let's pass 1, 4 north. Now this is the first left. So we won't know how many our incoming pass is going to be because they will pass blind. They don't tell you if anybody passes blind. So we won't be able to see that. We did get a 7 crack, so now we have 2 pair. I would definitely keep going. Okay, so no red flag. The robots are all wanting to continue. So let's pass 1, 3, 4. We could maybe make that better now that we have a 7 crack pair and let the 3 go. Because we could do 4, 5 cracks, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Leverage the pair of 7s with the 6. Okay, so now we have tiles we can pass. I would break up the 3, so we're left with a 2, 3 for the next pass. Okay, no keepers. Here's a pair in there now. Let's let that 8 dot go. Okay, we didn't get any keepers here, and I would pass 3. So everybody's passing 3, no red flags. So that just means everybody is still developing. We're still all gathering tiles. Okay, so we have a couple of hands with no gaps. We have the 5th hand down under consecutive run. We could also play the 2nd hand from the bottom on the left. We could maybe even play the 3rd hand down with this flower. So we have 1 of 3 hands we could play. We have 3 discards and what I'm called joker bait. This is actually a term coined by Tom Sloper of Sloperama. And we'll talk through that if it comes in handy. It's basically where you keep a pair and you try to maybe get a joker by coaxing an exposure later in the game. So let's discard first this 1 bam. So now what we're going to watch for in the first 5 or 6 picks, 5 or 6 rounds of picking, we're going to see if anybody makes an exposure, because that's going to either tell us that they're either an aggressive player or that they have a well-developed hand. So here, a flower's discarded. That's not a red flag, not necessarily. And we're not going to take it. We don't need it. Okay, now that's a red flag. An exposure with the 2nd discard. Not only is that a red flag, it's a big red flag because they're risking 2 jokers right here. That's an aggressive play or an indicator that they have a really well-developed hand. My opinion is that's just an aggressive play. So we're going to take it because we're probably playing a no joker, no flower hand. We can play the 5th hand down, or we can play the 2nd hand from the bottom on the left under consecutive run. So now we are going to discard, let's say this 8 crack. Okay. Good. Okay, 2 crack was discarded already. We can let that go. So we're still in the begin game until we get to 80 tiles remaining. You see this marker or this indicator here? It says 92 tiles left. Once we get to 81, that'll be the last pick in the begin game. So this is where you see some of those red flags that I shared about, basically people making an exposure in this part of the game. So we have one red flag on the play right now. You just want to be mindful if they're developing their hand. Okay, there's another exposure in the begin game, red flag. A pung of 3, 9, a pung 9 bam. So we just want to keep an eye on that. So let's see, they punged the 9 bam and they discarded a 6. So what that would tell me is that they probably are not in 3, 6, 9. They're probably playing odds, is my guess. They could be playing consecutive run, but there are 8s already out and they did not take either of those. So now with a pung, they could be playing, let's say, the 1st consecutive hand, 2nd consecutive hand. They could be playing the 5th hand down, 6th hand down, but they could also be playing odds, which is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're playing big odds, in which case we should let this 5 dot go. Okay, they didn't take the 9 dot, which is good. We're going to let this 5 dot go. Now this 8 crack, we might be able to use that. We could do 5, 6, 7, 8 instead of 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll see. Okay, now they have a 9 bam pung, but they didn't take either of these 9s. So that may be an indicator that they're not ready, or they maybe are playing odds number 1, odds line 1. They could also be doing maybe the odd dragon hand, 2nd hand from the bottom. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now here, we could Kong. we would have to risk 2 jokers. We're in between the 5th hand down and the 2nd hand from the bottom under consecutive run. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 8. If we were to Kong, we would be committed to the 5th hand down, and we need 2 pair. The pairs could either be 5, 6, or they could be 4, 5. We could Kong and commit, or let it go and play that 2nd hand from the bottom. And I think I would do that. I would wait because I don't want to risk losing these jokers. I want to develop my hand first. I think we have just as much of a chance at that 2nd hand from the bottom than we do the dragon hand where we need 2 pair. This hand 2nd from the bottom, I call that a hand of least resistance. You can win with any number of jokers. So it is a relatively indestructible hand. So I think that's the one we should focus on. So in this case, because I don't want to risk my jokers, I want to be a little more conservative, I'm going to let it go. And there's a keeper. We can let the 4 go. We're at 83 tiles. So we still have another pick before we go into the middle game. Okay, so somebody got a joker. Agata. They got their own joker, I guess. It went a little quick. All right, now, do you see this right here? Bottom right above my 3 dots there, 80 tiles remaining. We're now going into the middle game. So at this point, we need to keep an eye on who's going to be making exposures, and we want to note what they discard right after their exposure, because that's going to help us figure out what they're playing and maybe give us some information on the potential for our own hand, considering those variables. Okay, so now we have 5 bam pung. So we know what hand they're playing now. They're playing the first hand. Oh wait, 5 bam pung. They're playing the first hand under consecutive run, 5 through 9. We know that because that's the only hand that can use pung 5, pung 9. And they risked that pung with a joker. So my guess is that they have one of their 2 pair, and they have probably their 7s ready to Kong. And they also incidentally discarded an 8 dot. So that's another supporting bit of information that they're in consecutive run, because they have 8, 9 here. So here we're going to ignore that. So somebody, Agata, got a joker now. So Agata was able to get 2 jokers. Stinker. Oh, look, we got a 5. So now that we have a pung of 5s, we either could focus on, we're still in between the 5th hand. Let's see, 5th hand down with the dragon. We'd have to use a joker because 1 dragon is out, or we could play the 2nd hand from the bottom, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's probably what I would do. Let the 3 dot go, or I think I would let the dragon go and wait. We might be able to use the 3 dot if we can get closer to 60 tiles remaining. That's the sweet spot for joker bait, which is this particular joker tactic.
Right. 5.
So we're going to the 2nd hand from the bottom on the left, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 8. Until one of our tiles goes down, we don't have to make a choice.
6, 5, 7, 5.
Now, this is where we need to make a choice. Either way, we need to Kong. If we play 5, 6, or 4, 5, 6, 7, it's a Kong. If we play 5, 6, 7, 8, it's a Kong. And we have the jokers. So we're going to go ahead and call and Kong. And now we're going to let the 3 dot go.
3 dot.
Nobody took it. Nobody took it. We have 2 discards at the moment.
8.
Okay, now the Joe Curtis did not take that 7 bam. So they don't have the tiles they need for that Kong, for that hand. So they're going to need a joker now.
So
Since an 8 crack was discarded just now and we didn't have enough tiles for it, we're going to let that go and play 4, 5, 6, 7. We still have a discard just in case we get an 8, but I'd say 4, 5, 6, 7 is where we're focused. Okay, we don't need a 7 dot. They were still not ready. Let's see, 5, 9. I just want to make sure that there's not another odd hand for that. There's not. So that's what they have to be playing. They're going to need 2 jokers now. So they committed to those tiles with weakness. So that was not a good move. Robot.
1, 3,
Flower. We don't want that. If you're not playing with flowers, let them go. They do not make good joker bait. Okay, so now we have Wes has a Kong of 2s with a joker, and they discarded a white dragon. So my guess is they're probably not playing like numbers with 2s and dragons or a year hand. There are 3, 4, and bams are out. A 1 dot is out. I don't see any 1 cracks. 2, 3 dots are out. I'm thinking, are they playing consecutive run? They could maybe be playing evens multiplication hand. We'll see. Kong of 2s. We need to keep an eye on that. But I'm thinking that they're probably not playing a year hand or like numbers with dragons and 2s. Okay, so they did not act on the 2 crack. 9 crack. We have a 7 crack Kong. We do actually have potential for the first consecutive run hand. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're in between the first hand and now that second hand on the left, now that we got the 9 crack. I think there is a 9 crack right here. 1 is out and there are 2 8 cracks out. We would need a pair for that 8 crack if we played that hand. Okay, so now we have 2 exposures to the left, Agata, and they're both pure, no jokers visible. So now we have a 4 crack. That's a pung tile for us, and I would take it. I would pung because there are 2 8 cracks out. We would need a pair for the first hand, and that would be risky. So I think we should pung, and then we can discard the 9. Somebody nabbed our joker right away. Wes, this player on our right, took the joker. We need a joker, or no. We need a 6 crack. We need help with our 6 crack right now. We have 1 discard. We're playing the second hand from the bottom on the left under consecutive run. Don't need a 7. There are 2 8 cracks out, so that's going to be a good discard for us. Seems nobody would want that. Right now, there are 2 jokers up for grabs, the 2 bam and the 7 crack. Okay, so now they did not take a 2 crack. I'm talking about Wes, the player on our right. They also did not take a 2 dot. So what that tells me is that they're either playing consecutive run, offsuit, maybe 1 crack, 2 bam, 3 dot, which is unlikely because there are 3 3 dots out. The other, and that would be for the third hand down on the right with a pair of flowers. I think they're more likely playing evens. Now, let's see. I don't see very many wins out. They could be playing wins with offsuit Kongs. Third hand down, in which case they would need 3 cracks, 3 dots, 1 cracks, 1 dots. So this 1 crack is going to be risky if they're playing that third hand down. But I'm still playing to win. I have 2 discards and a hand with that can use any number of jokers. So I'm going to play to win. So I'm going to discard my riskiest tile first, which is that one crack. So we're going to let that go now. And incidentally, we're still in the middle game by one pick. So if we're going to let a risky tile go, this is the time. Okay, so they didn't take it after all that. So South went down. My guess is maybe they have their wins if they're playing North-South with offsuit Kongs. How many one dots are out? Just one. I'm still wondering if they're playing evens. I don't see any 8 BAMs out. Let me see. With the 2, let's see. They're not doing the multiplication. Let's see. 4 BAM, 6 BAM. They're not playing the one suit second hand from the bottom. They could be playing the mixed suit second hand from the bottom. Let's see, 4. How many 4 dots are out? 1. This is the second one, 2. So they can't be playing that hand either. Huh, this is interesting. I wonder what hand they're playing over there. I suppose they could be playing addition. I do see 7s out, but I don't see a 7. Let's see, they would need to have 7 BAMs, and I see 7 BAMs. So I'm not sure what they're playing over there. It'll be interesting to find out. Oh, we got our joker. And now we're ready to win on a 6 crack. So 4, 5, 6, 7, pung, pung, kong, kong, second hand from the bottom on the left. We got it. Mahjong. Okay. They were over here on the right. You see that? East, west, 1, 2. Across from us, they had weakness, the 7 BAM. On the left, it looks like they're playing a gap hand. 1, 2, 3 mixed suit Kongs. Third hand down on the right. Okay, so now we're going to play again. All right, what do you guys think about red flags? Do you, when you're playing the game, do you watch what people are doing during the Charleston, for example? Are you alerted at all when people pass blind or stop the Charleston? Do you just think about your own hand in those cases, or are you aware that that could be an indicator that they're maybe pushing or they're ahead of the game? Or maybe in the pick and discard phase of the game, when someone throws a joker, do you just say, that's a bummer, I could have used that? Or do you ask yourself, oh my gosh, if they're throwing a joker, they're probably ready on a pair or something like that. So ask yourself these things, because these red flags can give you a lot of information if you're aware. All right, let's see what we have. We have green dragon, red dragon. So there's a pair there, green dragon pair. Then we have a 2, 3 in BAMs, 2, 6 in cracks with a pair of 2s, 3, 4, 7, 9 in dots with a pair of 9s. If these were your tiles, what would you focus on? I'll give you 10 seconds, and then I'll tell you what I would do. I would focus on the 2s and the dragons. 2s and dragons. So 3, 6, 9, Karen says. 3, 6, 9, fourth hand down. I probably would not consider that, because the green dragon, even though you could use the 3 with the green, we don't have a white dragon for the 3 dot. That fourth hand down uses like numbers. We don't have a 9 BAM to go with the dragon. So I would not play 3, 6, 9. Personally, I would focus on 2s. For example, we could maybe do like numbers with 2s and dragons, but we could also maybe do something with 2, 3, 4 and let the dragon go. So I would break up the 9, keep the dragons and the 2s, and see what we can do with 2, 3, or maybe like numbers with 2s. Even though there is potential for that 3, 6, 9 hand, I think there's greater potential using the 2 crack. That's where the strength is. Okay, so now we have a 3-dot pair. Here's a 5. We have 2 clear discards. Sometimes it's easy to pick your clear discards so you know how many you need to let go of. In this case, we need 1 tile. So let's see what we have. We have a 2, 3 band, 3, 4, 5 in dots, pair 2, pair 3, pair green dragon. That pair of green dragons is not going to be helpful unless we have a 2 dot, and that is gap. Therefore, I would let it go. I would let the dragons go right now. So I'm going to break up that dragon and focus on 2, 3, 4, 5 of some kind. We're going to let the dragons go because we're going to leverage the 2, 3 consecutive pairs. Okay, there's a 1. And let's see, now we have north-south. We could use north-south with 2, 3. There is that hand, third one down on the left. I think we could let a dragon go. With a 2 crack and a 3 dot, we don't need a 5. We need to keep closer to the 1, 2 side, the littler numbers, or 2, 3 altogether, 2, 3 of some kind. I think I would let the 1 bam go. We have no flowers, so there's no sense holding the 1 bam for that third hand down under consecutive run. If you have a gap like no flowers, we need a pair gap. That's very risky to focus there. So I would rather focus on something with no gaps, which would be north-south with 2, 3. Or maybe some other kind of a 2, 3 hand. We'll see. Okay, so now there's a 2 bam. We have 3 tiles we can pass, so we don't have to pick a hand. We just keep going, keep gathering. Oh, we got a 2, and we have 2 clear discards. We need to let something go. So we have 2 crack pung, 3-dot pair, north and south. I would probably focus on that third hand down on the left. Incidentally, that is a hand of least resistance. We can use jokers if we're not ready to call the north-south, for example. So in this case, I would probably let the 3 bam go. We did not get any keepers, so we can just pass on these. No keepers. This is getting a little bit risky for my taste. I would still pass 3, but I'd probably let the 4 go. And then pass a 6 with a 9. Oh, we got a keeper. There, look at that. So we can Kong both the number tiles. We just need help with the north-south. So this 2 bam, that could be joker bait for us, around 60 tiles, if we can get it to that point. Otherwise, we have 3 clear discards. We're ready to Kong. We need help with north-south, but we can use jokers if we need to. So now we're in the middle, we're in the begin game. This is in the first 5 or 6 picks. You want to keep your eye on anybody who makes an exposure at this part of the game. And these robots typically do, with jokers, by the way. So let's keep an eye. Now watch. Someone's going to do a Kong with jokers. Oh, I'm surprised. Okay, there's an east. I would keep that. And I would also keep now these 2s. Because if we get a west and maybe build north-south, we could still maybe play that third hand down, but we also have potential for the concealed hand under winds. So let's let the 8 crack go.
8, 7, 6, 5.
Okay, there's a Kong with a joker, and we're in the begin game. So that's a red flag. That means that they probably know what hand they're playing, or they're an aggressive player, one or the other. Or maybe they just don't know what they're doing. Because if you don't know what you're playing and you Kong just because you can, that's not a smart move. You want to play conservatively until you know what hand you're playing and you have no gaps at least, and as few weaknesses as possible. Remember that last hand we played? This robot played that hand with a big weakness and they didn't win. It's because they had a huge weakness with the 7 bam, if you remember. So just because you can claim a discard to make an exposure doesn't mean you should. You want to make sure that you know what hand you're playing and you have no gaps and few weaknesses if possible. Okay, 8 bam is already out. So we've had 1, 2, we're in our 4th round of discards right now. Okay, it seems like nobody wants flowers. Let's discard the 7 dot. Okay, so now we're at 80 tiles. You see this little indicator here on the bottom right where my mouse is circling? 80 tiles remaining. We're entering the middle game. So this is when people make an exposure. You want to look at what they discard, because typically that's going to be a whittled keeper and it can help you figure out what they're playing. Okay, so we have a 1 that is in our range, 1, 2, 3, and we have discards. So let's let the 7 crack go. All right, so we have 7, 8. They're playing consecutive run. And just because of what you see there, they're doing either 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see, they have to be doing 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7 bam, 8, 9 dot. It could be, there's nothing else that could be. 6, 7, 8, 9, second hand from the bottom on the right. Anytime someone has 2 exposures, you can figure out what they're playing. We don't have any of their tiles, so at the moment we're okay. Now let's see if they Kong. My guess is no, unless they have jokers. There it is. They had a joker. So a 6 bam is going to be very risky. But I imagine that they don't have, I imagine they're not ready to win this early in the game. They may have a 6 bam, but I don't think they have another joker. Odds are that they don't. And there's already a 6 bam out. So let's just see what happens. But we need to be mindful. Okay, we don't need that 9. Okay, so somebody got a joker. We got a joker. Now that's a risky move, by the way. Let me just say that you want to try to leave a joker visible in exposures, at least one, because now Joe, this robot in front of us, they have a potential for a pure hand now because that robot just took a joker. They have no jokers visible, and there's only 1 6 bam out. So if they have a pure pung with a 6 bam, they're going to have double value for their hand because it's going to be jokerless potentially. So we need to be mindful of what happens from here forward. They have 3 exposures. This would be an intolerable impact if we draw and discard a 6 bam. So we do not want to draw a 6 bam, basically. And if we do, we're going to fold. We're going to fold and block. Let's just see what happens. Okay, we got a 5. That's okay. Okay, now that, I wouldn't do nothing there, of course, because if we play news concealed, we wouldn't call. So if we play north and south with Kongs, which is probably what I would do, 3rd hand down, we would let that go. and nobody wanted it, so that's probably going to be some good discards. Now here's a west. I would probably at this point, because now there are 2 wests out, I would probably let go of that concealed hand as an idea and focus on north and south with Kongs. 3rd hand down. Okay, so let's Kong. We have a hand with no gaps. We need 1 good pick here for our north and south. We're 52 tiles. Okay, there's a Kong with a 1. Oh, I forgot to look at what this robot did over here. I think they threw a 1 crack. They discarded a 4. I mean, they exposed a 4 crack Kong. They could be playing evens, multiplication. They could be playing maybe like numbers with 4s. I don't see any 4s out, but they could also be playing something consecutive, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe. I'm thinking they're playing like numbers with 4s on the left. And the player on our right, they have a Kong of 1s and they discarded a 5. So with a Kong of 1s and a 5 dot discard, they're probably not playing odds. I don't see any Kongs of 1s in odds at all. So they're not playing odds. They're playing either consecutive run or maybe like numbers. They could be playing addition, I suppose. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, that's interesting, but let's go ahead and discard this 2. There goes the west. Flower, we don't want that. Okay, nobody took it. Okay, looks like nobody wants flowers. We're about ready to go into the end game. We got a keeper. So now we're set. We can Kong the 2. We could pung both north and south. So I would play to win. We're in the end game right now. So we need to be very careful with our discards. Nobody wants flowers, it appears. I thought maybe they were playing like numbers with 4s, but they're not. They didn't take a 4. They could be playing like numbers with dragons. Oh, look, we ended up with that west. Okay, we'll ignore. Nobody wants these wins, so these are safe. Oh my gosh. Aha. 1, 2, north, south. They're playing our hand. Okay, so they were playing like numbers with 4s on the left. You see that? Like numbers with 4s. There were no, only 1 4 was out. So, and then this player across from us, they're ready to win on a 6 bam. Player to our right, 1, 2, north, south. All right, so let's play again. I hope red flags are helping you. Okay, we have a pair of flowers, so we're going to try to use that. Here's a south dragon, green dragon specifically, then 1, 3, 9 in bams, 1, 2, 3 in cracks, 3, 4, 8 in dots. If these were your tiles, what would you focus on? I'll give you 5 seconds. These were my tiles. I would focus on 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 2 1s. We have 3 3s and a 2 in there. So we can span 1, 2, 3, maybe even 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So I would let the south and the 8 dot go and focus on 1, 2, 3, 4 of some kind. I would not pick a hand. You don't have to pick a hand. We're going to gather. So let's see. We have a pair of flowers. Let's let the dragon go with a 9 and an 8. Okay, there's a north. We have northwest. I was wondering if winds were going to come in. So we have some potential for like numbers with news and ones. We could maybe play like numbers with 3s. We can't keep it all. We have to let some tiles go. Our pair is with the 1. And so that's where I would start. The 1 and the flowers. With a 1 and a flower, we could do like numbers with ones and news, or we could do maybe 1, 2, 3, mixed suit Kongs. 1, 2, 3. So then I would let the 3, 4 go. We need tiles to pass. We can't keep all these tiles. Okay, no keepers, so we're going to keep going. Okay, there's a wind. We have a pair of 3s. 2 pairs of 3s. I would go with news with 3s. Oh, that means we're going to have to break up the ones and pass like numbers. We have to pass, so we've got to do it. That's okay. I would do it. There's another 3, and we have tiles we can pass, but probably I would not pass like numbers again. Since we almost have news, I would let the 3 bam go. We got the east, and then I would probably pass. We have our pair and our singles. We already gave them ones. I think I would maybe give them 1 tile. I don't want to give them more ones. Okay, so here we go. News with 3s is what we're playing. Third hand down under any like numbers. We're not ready to call. We're going to need a little help here. Look, we ended up with a pair of ones again.
2, 8.
Nobody wanted it. These are going to all be safe discards here. So we just need to draw our 3s in here. Or jokers. Okay, we have 1 more pick in the begin game. We're good there. We need a pair. Oh, hold the phone. Look at that. That's a red flag, by the way. Kong with 3 jokers. So we have a, you know what I would do? I would take those jokers and play news concealed. Switch and leverage the jokers. News concealed. Let's see if we can get them. We can. Oh, you don't want to risk that. You don't want to risk. That's super risky. Okay, so we have an extra west. All right, here we go. Okay. We don't need that white dragon. We really don't need east. We need north, south. We're good. We just stay concealed. We switch to a concealed hand. Okay, we're at 61 tiles. Nobody wanted the 1 crack, so that's not going to be joker bait. Looks like nobody wants wins. Okay, there's a joker up for grabs. That's our tile, but we're concealed. Now no, we're going to stay concealed. I was going to say we could Kong, but we have and play news with flowers under any like numbers, but that would be a pair gap because we did the exchange and we let the flowers go. and there's 4 flowers out in that Kong. That means there are 4 flowers left. Our opponents could be using them. So I would not consider Konging, and I would stick with news concealed. So we're at 51 tiles. We're still in the middle game. We have about 2 more picks. There's a keeper. We have 1 discard, and we're still in the middle game. We're going to let that go because we're concealed. At least nobody took it. So we have 1 joker up for grabs. Oh, it just got robbed. Okay, we need a keeper. No, that's not it. There's the flower. There's only 2 more left. Wow. So Agata, they got 2 jokers out of. How did they have? They had 2 more flowers in their hand? Wow. Okay. That's crazy. Wow. How nice to be holding on to flowers like that. All right. We need a keeper. We're in the end game. There goes our tile. We can use jokers, though. Have no fear. We've got our singles. Oh, darn. We're playing multiplication. Stinker. All right, let's play again. We got close. Okay, so now we have a joker, a flower, east red, 1, 2, 3 in bams, 7, 8 in cracks, 3, 6, 8 in dots with a pair of 3s. What would you focus on? I'll give you 10 seconds. I would focus on the 3 dot. And with the 3 dot, I would keep the 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't pick a hand. We're just, oops, I didn't mean to do that. 1, 2, 3 of some kind. Maybe we can use the wind. Maybe we can use the dragon. And then I would discard, but I don't think I would discard. Let's see here. I don't think I would discard 6, 7, 8. I think I would let the dragon go. There's a north. We have a pair of 8s now, but here's a 2. 2, 3. Okay, I would break up the 8 because we've got consecutive pairs, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3. 2, 3, 3. 2, 3 consecutive. Let's see, the northeast. We could maybe try for the 3rd hand down, but we don't have a south and we don't have a west. So probably what I would do is focus on number tiles and let it go. Just let it go. Okay, so we got a 1 and a 2. And I would just let them go. We actually have some potential for the 1, 2 pair hand, 3rd hand down on the left. I think in this case, I would let the north go. Let's see, we have 1, 2. I usually don't pass 2 winds together. I think I would maybe let the 2 crack go instead. We could do 1, 2, 3 and bams with a flower. Okay, now we have 1, 2. Here's a 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 5. We're going. We have 2 clear discards. We need to let go of 1 tile. Since we have a 1, 2 in bams, no 4 dot or 4 bam, which would be a pair for the 1st hand. So I would let that go. We could play 2 bam, 3 dot, 4 crack, 3rd hand down on the right, or we could play the first 1 in 1 suit on that same line. Oh, now we get the 4 bam. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd hold that. We could play the second hand from the bottom on the left, and that's a hand of least resistance. We got the 2 back. We have 2 discards. I think I'd let this 2 bam go, or 2 crack go.
Correct.
Okay, no keepers, and we can let all those go. 1, 2, 3. Yes. We could play 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got the 5. All right. So we've got 2 clear discards, and we're just going to gather now. Okay, now we 1, 2, 3, 4. We could maybe use this dragon second hand down. We don't need an 8. Okay, now there's something interesting. A 3, 4 dot. It looks nice, but it really doesn't. It's not meaningful. Oh, Joker exchange. Red flag 2. Kong with a joker. Thank you. All right. We don't have to pick a hand till we're called to. If something goes down that we could maybe use, we'll think about it then. But until then, we're gathering. Okay, now here, we could Kong that and play 1, 2, 3, 4, pung, pung, Kong, Kong. Second hand from the bottom on the right or on the left. Since we have no gaps and we could pung the 1 and the 2, I would call. We're at 84 tiles. This would be an assertive move. I'm going to use the word assertive because we have a hand with no gaps. So it's not aggressive, because if we had a gap, it would be aggressive. But because we have no gaps, it's assertive. So let's call. Call. Okay, so we don't need the dragon anymore. So now the 3 dot is going to be joker bait, and we have 2 discards. We're going to try to get this 3 dot pair to 60 tiles. That's the ideal spot, the sweet spot for joker bait. If the 1, 2 bam go down, we'll pung. So anybody at the table seeing a Kong with 2 jokers, that's a red flag. Now we exposed a 4 bam Kong. That was 2 picks ago. A 5 bam was just discarded. We distanced ourselves from the 4, so I think we should throw the 5 now. And then probably the next tile to discard would be, well, either the 3 or the 4. Both are consecutive. We want to try to keep our opponents guessing what we could be playing now that we have that exposure. Once you have 2 exposures, though, they'll know. You want to keep them guessing, though, if you can. So we know what they're playing on the right, north and south with Kongs, which means they're going to maybe need that 3 crack. They may even have our 3 bam. Let's let the 3 crack go now. So they didn't want it. Here, let's pung. So we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, pung, pung, Kong, Kong. We're at 70 tiles remaining. We have 2 more picks before the sweet spot for joker bait. Okay, they didn't want that. Let's let the dragon go first. Joker exchange. Thank you. Okay. Now, with our 2 exposures, everybody knows what we're playing. There's only one hand this could be. Oh, we're at the sweet spot for Joker bait. So they got our 4 bam. Okay, let's let the 3 dot go and see if someone takes it. No. Okay. Okay, now the 6 bam, I don't see any out, so I think we should throw that next. Oh, Joker exchange. Joker swap. Joker swap. There's a 6 bam with a Joker over there. Okay. Oh, shucks. Okay, we got close. One discard. Okay, let's see what we can do with these tiles now. Well, this will be a little interesting here. We have a pair of flowers, northwest pair, west, green dragon, 9 bam, 1, 6, 8, 9 in cracks with a pair of 1s, and we have a 4 dot. So if these were your tiles, what would you focus on? This is a good one. West with 1s. A west with 1s. When I first saw these tiles, I immediately thought of playing a quint. But then I thought, we have only 1 Joker. But I thought, okay, we could leverage the 1, the flower, and the dragon and play a quint. And then I thought, well, maybe we can hold the wins for news if we get another 1. You really don't want to bank on if. But we also have north or 9s with news. 9s, maybe like numbers with 9s and let the 1 go. And then I would just stop there. So with the west, I'm not sure what you're talking about, West. West with 1s. We could maybe do news with flowers too. 4th hand down. We have 3 tiles we can pass. It's a little risky. Okay, so we have a pair of 9s now. So I would let the 1 go and focus on the 9. And the quint would go, because you can't use the dragon with the 9 bam and a quint. It has to be an opposite dragon. So I would let the dragon go. All right, now we have a 9. Now this dragon we could use, but we got another 9. We have 1 clear discard. This dragon we could let go of. So like numbers with 9s looks excellent to me. That's what I would focus on. Okay, now we have some consecutive in here. 7, 8, 9. I would keep going and let that west go. Okay, 7. We have a lot of 7, 8, 9 in there. Let's see here. Let's let the 7 dot go. 7 crack. 7, 8, 9. Let's let the 7 bam go. There's another 9 bam and an east. I would focus on like numbers with 9s and news. We almost have news. And I would discard these 3 on the right. It's a little bit risky. 7, 8 in 1 suit. But we have a pretty well-developed hand. Okay, that would be a red flag. Getting 2 dragons, that's pretty risky. We're going to let them go now. Okay, we need a pair, and we've already got it. Oh, look it. There it is again. We're gonna grab those babies. Oh, shoot. Somebody already took them. Dang. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, we were gonna do it too. Okay, now there's another red flag. Exposure with jokers. Yikes. Okay, that was our tile. So maybe that 9 crack will go. Okay, we need help with our 9s. We got an east. Another east. Oh, this is where I would consider maybe forcing a quint, but we don't have another number tile and we only have one joker. But I would think about it. 5. Let's let the 9 crack go. We could maybe play a quint. Oh, there's a 5 dot. Forget that one. Okay, maybe we can use a 2 crack. It's just 2 random numbers. As long as, okay, now here we have to make a choice. We could either Kong or quint. We have a pair of flowers. I think we should let the quint go and Kong. It's just a little too risky. If we had another joker, I'd probably go for the quint, but we'd have to throw away a pair of flowers and it's not good joker bait. There's already a Kong out. And if someone else took it, I don't know. I don't think so. I'd rather use it. Oh, there it is, a flower. All right. We can hold it. Maybe we'll get a 9 crack. We have 1 discard before we have to let a flower go.
Joker slope. 1 dot.
Okay. So much for like numbers with 9s and flowers. I would probably let this flower go now because the 9 cracks are down. Okay, so they're doing 4, 5, 6, 7. Pung, pung, kong, kong. Joker up for grabs over here on the right. Oh, gone already before our eyes. Okay, we need a south.
7, 7, 8, 4.
Oh, 6 crack. Let's see. I think, has this gone down yet? 3 bam is down. Let's let the 6 go. I see 1, 2. There are 3 out. So these should all be safe. Three crack. I'm looking for the riskiest tile. If we're going to play to win, we discard the riskiest tile first. The 3 crack is not out yet. We still need a tile for our 9 dot. That's our tile. Oh no. Oh, let's see. So that's 2 souths out. We need 1. Where was that? Oh, across from us. With, okay, red flag. Kong with 2 jokers in the end game. They're playing to win. That's risky. We got our south. We have 4 picks left and 1 discard. Oh, 2 crack. Okay, now they're playing like numbers with 2s, I think. So this 2 crack is going to be super risky. 1 is out. 2. I think we should do it. Okay. Let's see. One bams are out. One dots are out. I think they're playing like numbers with twos. Two dot. Ooh. This two dot is going to be super risky. They didn't act on the two crack though. Okay, that's our tile, but we can't call. One dot. Let's throw the two. Oh, it's over here on the right. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're going to need two jokers now because there's the other nine dot. The chances of us getting two jokers is slim, but look at all the jokers available in these exposures. Somebody just got one. Somebody got another one. Goodness sake. What about us? Why don't we get the opportunity here? We're the human. Stinker robots. So robots need oil changes. They stink. All right. We'll throw the joke. Yeah, wall game. Okay. All right. So they're trying for a year hand across from us with no white dragon. Gap hand. To the right, another gap hand. Year hand. Yeah, gap hand over there. Both of them are playing gap hands. To the left, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pung, pung, kong, kong. Weakness. We have the strongest opportunity, but they kept getting the joker exchanges. That's crazy. All right, let's keep going. We should be able to play two more hands. Okay, now we have an interesting deal. Pair of flowers, west, green, red, 8 bam, 2, 4, 9 in cracks, 2, 7, 8 dot with a 9, 2, 7, 8, 9 in dots. So if these were your tiles, what would you focus on? I'll give you 10 seconds and then I'll tell you what I would do. If these were my tiles, I'd play 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9 of some kind. So I would hold 7, 8, 9. Maximize. We do have twos. I guess I would hold the west and then stop there so we can pass. There's a 9 and a north. 9, north. We have tiles we can pass. Now that right there, that's a little bit risky. I think what I would do is probably let the, we have 7, 8, 9 flower or like numbers with 9s and news. Let's let the 8 go. 8 bam. Yep, 7, 8, 9. Good, Shelby. Okay, there's a 7. Here's a 5. We've got an east. We have two, let's see, there's 5, 7, 9 in there, but no dragon. We have two clear discards. So now we have to make a choice. Since we have 7, 8, 9, pair, 7, 9, pair, I probably would let the winds go. Let's let the north go. Oh, 6. Okay, so let's get on. Okay, now here's 6, 7, 8, 9 or 7, 8, 9. Let's let a wind go here. And there's a little bit of 3, 6, 9 in there. Let's see here. We do have 3, 6, 9 with 9s. This would be the second hand down under 3, 6, 9. We have to pass 3, 6, 9 with 9s. I would rather, I think, play 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. We did get the 5 back again, and we have tiles we can pass. Okay, and I would let these go. There's a 6. Okay, let's see if someone takes this with a Kong with jokers. No, shoot. I was hoping they would because a lot of times they do. Got a joker already. Why? Why does that happen? I don't get it. Why do they always get the jokers? It's crazy. Okay, let's let the 8 go. So we have 5 through 9 or 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 8. We've got options. So either the first hand on the right under consecutive run or the third hand down on the left. Same category. No, we can't do anything there. No, we get a joker. Okay, that's nice. Another one. Oh my goodness. How generous. So generous. I would probably let the flowers go and play 6, 7, 8, 9, pung, pung, kong, kong. 6, 7, 8, 9.
9, 8, 5, 7.
Oh, now they don't use the flowers. I'm kind of thinking the flowers can go. We could play the first hand or the second hand from the bottom on the left. Nobody wants flowers.
5, 8, 4.
Okay, joker up for grabs. They got it already. We hardly took a breath and they got it. Keeper. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're set for the first hand. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have a weakness with our 8 dot. I would let the flowers go now. Okay. Looks like nobody wants flowers. 5, 7, 9 dragon. We don't have any dragons. I wouldn't play a hand if you have a gap like that. That would be very risky. Here we have no gaps. We do have a weakness, but we have no gaps. That's the first thing you want to look for is an opportunity with no gaps. And then you look to set yourself up for success and maybe either fill or build the weakness or be ready to win early. We're still in the middle game by 1 pick. And we're almost ready. Okay, now that's our pair tile. We're not ready. We're going to let it go, of course. Well, I suppose we could have Konged. Okay, now we're ready to win. We're ready to win on a 7 dot or a 9 dot. I call that a double weight. And we have a really good chance of winning. We got it. Mahjong. Woohoo! All right. So we have 2 players in wins, and then we have a 6, 7, 8, 9 gap hand on the left. Okay, I think we could play one more game. Oh, look at the dragons. Okay. So we have a joker flower, pair red dragon, white dragon, single, 2, 3, 8 in bams, 2, 4, 7 in cracks, 6, 8 in dots. If these were your tiles, what would you focus on with these tiles? Dragons. There be dragons. I think I would try to use that red dragon, but there's not a lot to work with there. Maybe we could do like numbers with 2s and dragons. Maybe we could play a year hand. I don't think we can use the 3. All right. There's some 2, 4, 6, 8 in here, by the way. There actually is a hand in here. 2, 4 crack, 6, 8 dot. Okay, now we got the 2. We got a 4 and a 4. Here's 2 discards. Okay, now, so we have year tiles. Look at the year tiles. Wouldn't that be fun to play the big year hand? I think I would. I would go for a year hand and break up the red dragon. Okay, so let's do that. Year hand, yep, I think so. Okay, there's a north. Let's keep going. Okay, red flag on the play, west. The player on our right stopped the Charleston. That would be a red flag. Thankfully, they're not across from us, so we can pass.
So.
Okay, no keepers there. But we do have potential for the big ear hand here. And I would throw a joker away to make that hand, but we've got a ways to go. We have a year block right there. So I would just wait and just see what comes in.
So
I would probably just stay concealed.
red, 5,
Let's just see what happens.
9, 8 crack.
We need news, and we have only a
6
north.
crack. 6.
Oh, there's 3, 6, 9 in here. 3, 6, 9. Let's see here. We have 4s, we have 2s. I think I would let the 4 dot go. Oh, look, there's 4 dot with Kong. 2, 3, 4. I don't think I would be distracted by that. We're going to, of course, let that go. South is out. We need a pair if we play the big ear hand. I'm kind of thinking we should let the big ear hand go. North and south are out. We need 2 pair there. Green dragon. No.
Green, 5, south.
Okay, 2 souths are out there. So now no big ear hand. There's 1 more south. We could still maybe do like numbers with news.
Green, 9 crack.
Like
6
numbers
crack.
with news with 2s.
2
Well, that was pretty amazing. They stopped the Charleston and won. Okay, we could play again. We still have enough time to play 1 more game, I think. Okay, so now we have south 2, 3, 4 in bams, 1, 4, 7 in cracks, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9 in dots with a pair of 9s. If these were your tiles, what would you focus on? These were my tiles. I'd start with the 9. 4s. Well, we do have all the 4s, but we have a pair of 9s. I would leverage the multiple and play 3, 6, 9 or 5, 7, 9. And then let the others go. Probably 1 of each suit. Okay, there's a 2, 1, 2, 4 dragon. Not helpful. The south we don't need. Let's see. Let's let 2 go here. There's another 9 and a 3. We're gathering 3, 6, 9 probably. There's a 9 and a 6. So we want to keep. I would throw 1 east with a 7. We're looking at 3, 6, 9 probably here. 4, 1, 8. Threes. We have 3 tiles to pass. We have almost all 3, 6, 9. We have 3 discards, and we actually have a hand with no gaps. First hand under 3, 6, 9. 3, 6 bam, 6, 9 dot. There's Joker bait with the south. Let's see if anyone's playing north and south. They didn't. They didn't take it. Nobody wanted the south, so I would let them go. Nobody's playing the winds, apparently. Okay, now we do have a little bit of consecutive run growing here. 2, 3, 4 of some kind. Might as well. We got a keeper, 6 dot. That needs to be a pung. Okay, now we have a Kong of dragons with a pung of 9s. So they are playing the 4th hand down under 3, 6, 9. We need to let this 9 crack go now. Right now. Okay, so we're good. All right, so we have a lot of 3, 6, 9 in here. Oh, you know what? They could be playing the second hand from the bottom under big odds, under odds. 5, 7, let's see, it would be 5, 7 dot pair pair, 7, 9 bam, which we don't have their tiles anyway. Okay, now here, we don't want that. 3 crack. Let's let the 5 go. Let this 4 crack go. We have a lot of 3, 6, 9 here. 3, 3, 6, 6, 9.
8.
That 3 crack maybe could be Joker bait. We do not want the 9 crack. Looks like nobody's playing wins. Oh. 3, 6, 3, 6, 6, 9. That's a Kong for us. We're not ready. Happens. Oh, that's a little bit painful. I would consider playing the concealed hand now since 2, 6 dots are out. We could do 3, 6 crack, 3, 6 bam, 9 dot pair. Concealed 3, 6, 9 since we hoarded 3, 6, 9. That's one reason why you want to hold every tile you can use in that category until you run out of discards, because now we have an option. Okay, there's a pung with 2 jokers. So that's a red flag. We're still in the middle game with the last pick. They're playing the first year hand. Nobody wants wins. That would be a pung for us, but we're not ready. I'm thinking, oh, well, there's something interesting there. We could take that, but I think we have a better chance at completing the concealed hand. Oh, they are playing that 3, 6, 9 dragon hand. Look at the jokers. Oh, they got a Mahjong. Okay, shall we do a speed round? We got 4 single pair Kong there. Okay, shall we do a speed round? You ready? We have 10 minutes. Okay, we have flower, north, south, dragon, 2, 6, bam, 5, 6, 7, 9 in cracks, 2, 7, 9 in dots. I would focus on the sevens, probably big odds. Let's see, big odds, need for speed. Yes. Okay. We do have some 6, 5, 6, 7. I would hold those. We do have like numbers with sevens potentially. So now what can we let go of? Let's see, 5, 6, 7. We have 5, 7, 9, north and south. Let's see here. We do have sevens with north, south. Let's let the 6 bam go and then pass 2 dot with that 6. Okay, so there's a west. We have 3 discards here, although we have 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's let the 9 go. 7, 4, 6. We'll let the 9 go. Okay, now we have 4, 5, 6, 7 in cracks. We have 4, 5 cracks, 6, 7 dot. We've got like numbers with sevens and almost news. I think I would go there. 7, 7. Or we could do 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5 crack, 6, 7 dot. Either way, we would leverage 2 pair. So 4, 5 crack, 6, 7 dot. We can't keep it all. We have 1 flower and we are short an east. So let's see here. We're kind of in between and it's all equitable. The thing is 4, 5, 6, 7 is a hand of least resistance. I wouldn't pass 2 wins. So either, regardless of what we do, we need to let something go. Let's let the wins go, but not past 2. So then we have to let something go in here. We could do 4, 5, 6, 7 in 1 suit or 4, 5, 6, 7 in 2 suits. Or we can risk passing 2 wins and keep it all. I don't like doing that typically, but I want to see what comes in. Let's do it. It's a little bit risky. Okay. We don't want to keep those. Don't need those. Let's see here. This 5 though. We could do single pair Kong, single pair Kong. That would be the 4th hand down under a consecutive run. No keepers. Okay, we ended up with north-south again. So now we have, we've got 5, 7, 9 in there. We don't need the wins. Oh, there goes a 9. Don't need wins. Okay, so now we have 4 crack pung. I would leverage that. So this 9 can go, the 5 can go. We have 3 discards and 2 pung, pung, kong, kong, second hand from the bottom 2 ways. We could do 1 suit or 2 suits that we need for a pung, but we're not ready. There's a 7 bam. We have pung, we have pairs of all the 7s in here. Right here, 7, 7, 7. We would need to Kong that. I would let it go. Because we could still do 4, 5, 6, 7, or like numbers with 7s. Now that we have a flower, I would probably play all 7s. Leverage the flowers. We could pung 2 of the 7s. Double. Okay, so they have 2 Kongs, so they're going to need either the 4 or the 7. They may have our 7 bam. We could try to block them. We don't need that. There are 3 red dragons out and 2 white dragons. We're not playing that second hand down under like numbers. Too many dragons are down. It's a fun hand to play, but it's not looking good. I would let the winds go for the same reason. Joker exchange, and I would take it in this case because they're either playing with 4s and there's 1 out and we have 2, so they're not going to be having a jokerless hand. Now they could be doing 2, 3, or I'm sorry, 3, 4 in either cracks or dots. Let's see, the 4 is out. Let's see, 3 cracks are out. They could be doing 3, 4 dot, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll see. That could help us get to our like number hand. We don't need that. We'll pung. Keep our joker to ourselves. We need to let this pung go. The pung, by the way, does not make good joker bait. It's already out right here. That's a good safe discard. Nobody wants the 5. Looks like nobody wants the 6 or the 4. These are all safe. Safe. Oh, dang. 4, 5, 6. So they had no way to get a pure hand. That's why I took the joker. There was a 4 bam already out. All right, that's going to do it. I hope you found this helpful. Red flags. I think there's a wiki article on this, by the way. Let me just double check. I don't remember if I have a wiki article on this. I know it's in my book, my second primer. I'm pretty sure I have. Oops. Okay. Go to the wiki. Okay, search the wiki. Red flags. Nope. It's in the glossary. Oh, where? Down here. That's where we are right here. Read. Strategy by wall. End game tournament play. You can, it's not explicitly documented in here. I could add red flags in here. I'll leave that open as a reminder. I'll add red flags to that. Okay, so next week, we're going to be talking about widespread tips. So basically, when you get a dealt hand and you have no multiples, you have all single tiles. That's what we're going to talk about next week. Oops. Thank you, Cindy. I hope you found it helpful. Back in an hour. Yes, ma'am. We'll be back at 4, and we'll be back to talk about hand reading. We're going to be looking at hand reading, which is a little bit of what we did today, but it's a little more in depth, a little more advanced. So I hope you consider joining us again at 4 p.m. We'll be back. Between now and then, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for sharing about MAHJLIFE. Moderators, thank you so much for helping. And I appreciate also everybody participating in the interaction in live stream chat. YouTube calls that engagement. And not only do I enjoy it, I hope you do too, but it also helps my channel, because if YouTube sees the interaction, that's engagement, and YouTube will share more about my channel. The more people are engaged, the more they promote your channel. So I appreciate it very much. If anybody has any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and sign off. All right. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos. And you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.